Okay.
Look at this goddamn thing. SPX.
What's up, everybody? How we doing?
Is it happening?
It says it's happening.
All right, it's happening. Welcome.
Welcome, guys.
Welcome to Thailand, Tom.
Thank you, mate. It's great to be here. It's great to be in Thailand. Appreciate it.
Last time this week, we were just talking about how great it was going to be when you came to Thailand.
I know, right?
It's
been a week. It's been a crazy week.
It's been a
great week.
It's been a great week.
It's been a great week.
Excellent week.
Absolutely. Alrighty then. How we doing?
People coming
We
in.
got the
Hello,
villas.
everyone. Good to see you guys.
Avil, how we doing? We got Paula, Paulo, Björn, Shalesh is here as well.
All right.
Ahmad, Anna.
Hello, Anna.
Hello, Anna. Hello, everybody. Welcome. Welcome back in front of the camera, Asgar.
Oh, thank you.
That's from Björn.
Oh, thank you. I'm just cleaning up my chart a little bit here. We're going to talk crypto tonight. We're going to talk SPX. We're going to talk pump and dumps, back holders, everything you need to know.
Fantastic.
And we're going to answer every single question you have.
Yes. So make sure you get your questions in, guys. Make sure you get your questions into the chat box. All right. We'll answer as many of them as we can get to in this time. So make sure you ask any questions about trades, whatever it might be. Throw your questions in there and we'll go through them. Okay. Alrighty then. So what are we looking at here? We're looking at Bitcoin.
So I am still assessing this situation we're in. You can see I got some trend line drawn up, and actually I'm gonna redo them for you all because it's pretty important to understand trend lines here. Okay, so just have a look at what I got right now. These are 3 trend lines that's pretty important, and then I'm gonna delete them. We'll do them again. Okay, so we have a common understanding of what's actually going on here, right? So these trend lines I had just then, I had them for like quite some time. You can see they was drawing like a parallel edge that was here, and that's very important. So one thing you want to know about trend lines is that when you have these trend lines and you're drawing them out like this, whenever you have a market which is respecting a trend line the same way is happening here, you can see that the market is returning to it again and again. And even here, you could see before that big dump that finally pushed through, it actually did respect it for one day. That was that happened for one day. That was the thing. Okay, so whenever we have a trend line that is responding that well, it actually means what we can do is we can mirror this trend line. We can copy it off, and we can put it to the outer edge of whatever we got in the opposite direction. So right now you can see we have this trend line going on here. And what I did is that I copied that exact angle that it is that the market is trending at, and I pasted it in, and then I'm putting it at the very top of this, which I'm connecting in the best way possible. You can see I got 3 connections up here to the top. And as you can see, we are pretty far away from this. So it's not like it's even close at this point. We're very far away from it, right? So in addition to that, we have a trend that's going down here right now. And I like to mark that out as well. And I'll probably go somewhere along like this with it, okay? And listen, the reason we talk about trend lines, the reason we want to have these trend lines is because there's millions of people in the world that is looking at these trend lines. It's not necessarily that we need to trade from them because we use Xmode. Xmode is superior to trend lines in every single way. If you draw your trend lines perfectly, like if you sat down 3 years and all you did was learn how to put your trend lines the right way, if you did this for 3 years, you would arrive at the same conclusion that Xmode gives you. It will give you the same points. This is what I saw after several years, and that's why I really just realized there's a point in time where trend lines is a great tool to use, but there's certain times where a market can go dormant. It just stops being active, and then a lot of people will get tricked by trend lines, meaning that they will see a trend line break and they think that means that there will be a breakout. And it doesn't mean there's going to be a breakout. It just means that the market's now moving in that direction. So if you have like a sideways market going like this and you have a trend line break, it means nothing. Okay. So whenever that happens, the holy grail is horizontal levels, and that is what Xmode provides you with. Okay, so that's really important. Now back to the trend lines that I just set up here. You can see I have this channel that's now going straight down here, and like I just said, it means we can mirror this and we can put it in the same way, try to connect it the best way possible to whatever we have. And I think it's maybe looking something like this. It's always unconfirmed, of course, but it's maybe looking something like this. You could also it could also be here. That could also be it. But honestly, I don't think, if you look at the what's currently going on in this market, I don't think that's really going to give it enough space to move on. So I think if we put it here, connects with this one up here, and we got the 2-1 here, I think that's going to give us the best idea. Now, I actually wanted to talk a little bit about these two first one first, because pay attention to what's actually happened here, right? We got this channel being respected for weeks that the market's respecting this, and then finally it dumps through. And what does the market do after it dumps through a support? It retests this often, and that's what we just seen, that the market came up and it actually was even trading a little bit inside the channel here. You can see it got back inside, was quickly sold off, and now it's trading here again below 50k. So the resistance held. Xmode, Sona even have a trade on this. It's a great short. It's a beautiful short, and it's the right time to short it. Because guys, that is the right time to short, and that is the wrong time to short. For the majority of time, you don't want to be shorting crypto. And then there's the very few times in history where there is an enormous amount of people that are just bought into crypto, are stuck in margin position, has taken loan through their banks, has done all these like really stupid ideas to take on too much exposure. And what is happening is that the market is doing a natural cleanse. It is cleaning out. And the market will do in the short term what it does best, which is it's gonna shake the tree as much. All these monkeys that has no fucking idea what they're doing, that has climbed up the tree and has probably made some gains, you know, they thought they're a genius, but in reality it's a bull run. All these guys sitting in this tree, they're gonna get shaking a lot, shaking as much as possible, shaking more than they're even equipped to handle. And what happens then? They do stupid shit, like buying into resistance, selling into support. And that is where we Breakfree traders really shine, because we have a systematic approach that tells us exactly when we want to be long, when we want to be short, and most importantly, when we want to do nothing.
Yeah.
And these are like basic principles that is gonna, last you, make sure that you last as a trader, make sure that you have an opportunity throughout your entire life to continuously extract money in a systematic way when it's the right time to trade, when it's the right time to take this position. And that is why we do things fundamentally different from everyone else. That's how it is.
Absolutely. You can't just be, permanently long all the time on every cryptocurrency. Because, at the end of the day, when the sun is shining, you make hay. When you're in an uptrend, you make hay and you go long. But when that trend changes, your bias has to change as well. Otherwise, you're going to keep on buying every single dip, and it's going to keep on dipping, and you're going to keep on getting deeper and deeper and deeper underwater until you go, oh, maybe my bias should change now. And then you go, oh, wow, now it's too late. I already bet the farm on everything. So,
and I think one thing people don't realize is that whatever you choose to buy into has an opportunity to go down by 90 or even 99%. And then they think that's it. But what you don't understand is that after it has done the first round of minus 99%, it can do another round of minus 99%, and this can continue until 0. And so, guys, you got to be really careful. All right, these tools, like I was talking with Tom just I think last week about it. We were talking about Bitcoin last week and Ethereum.
In the stream,
we were talking about how it was mimicking what was happening last in May, where Bitcoin already, because we have such great tools, we have RTD, it already told us here that it was wrong. Something is not right. You see local dive below global, it's not a good sign. And the funny thing is that this is exactly what happened the same time in May when Ethereum kept running up. Oh, that's let's get the Ethereum. When Ethereum kept running up while Bitcoin was actually dumping. So let's have a look, see if we can pull this up for a second here. This was back in May. Jesus fucking Christ. So what's happening here, if you see, this is from April 25th, and the top was marked out of May 13, right? So at the same time, if we start looking at this run up from Ethereum, that was April 26th. Let's see if we can find April 26th. It must be somewhere like here. All right. So we got, let's pull up RTD again. Let's make that a little bit more clear. Let's zoom a little bit in, right? Hope everyone can see what's happening here.
They probably can't see the RTD, I don't think.
No, that's a shame.
Faces are in the way.
All right.
But that's okay.
Not a problem. I'm going to put it over here for you guys.
Yeah, put it above. Yeah, good.
Yeah, I'm going to put it over here for a second. Okay. So what you can see what happened was that very early on, we already got a warning sign here on Ethereum, April 20. That's when Ethereum started pumping upwards. You see, this is this is April 20. So you see, there's a strong disconnect. Ethereum is starting to run up, and Bitcoin is starting to run down, and this is happening at the same time. And that's not normal, because usually these two cryptocurrencies, which are like blue chips cryptocurrencies, they move along each other. They move with each other. So it is very strange when you start to see Bitcoin decoupling. Whenever the king, which is Bitcoin, which is the OG cryptocurrency, whenever this one starts decoupling and going down, like you can see on this side, something is not right. And that's why I was talking with Tom last week, and it was like, you know what's funny? Because
at the same time, ETH was kind of pumping last week while BTC was dumping.
Let me see if I can pull up my mouse here. There we go. All right, so let's put to the side here. So we got Bitcoin on the right side. We got Ethereum here on the left side, right? So Ethereum now is in a oh, you probably can't see this. Okay, Ethereum is it's currently in a very weak trend. It is looking exactly like Bitcoin did roughly 2 or 3 weeks ago. This is what happens. Okay, you have a trend. If RTD keeps bouncing off it, everything is fine. You can buy every single dip. You'll be fine. But the second that local starts shaving into the global, you don't want to mess with it anymore, because it's a sign of weakness. It means that people, whoever was buying, whatever algorithms or group of people, whoever, they're not there to buy to the same extent anymore. And that means there's a lot of people waiting to take profit, and they will sell. If they don't, if people are not buying anymore, they will sell. You can be sure of that. Okay, so it's the exact same thing. And let me remind you that from that very top last time, Bitcoin dumped roughly 50%. That's probably where it marked its bottom. This time, in my opinion, it's in a worse shape. We are later into the year. It's not as hyped as it was. You want to be really careful here. You don't want to necessarily go short Ethereum here. You don't want to go long it either. You don't really want to touch it, because it's kind of like a paranoid. It's like a paranoid market that's currently not behaving like you would really expect it to, while at the same time Bitcoin is behaving like you would expect it to in a downtrend. So much rather leave Ethereum alone, go have a look at Bitcoin. And I'm sure if you really want to go long on a crypto, I'm sure there's some shitcoin out there that is in a good strong uptrend that you can buy into. That would,
yeah, there always is.
That would be as a nice hedge for Bitcoin, because you can be sure if there is some cryptocurrency, some shitcoin out there really pumping at the same time as Bitcoin is dumping, you can be sure that when Bitcoin finally does push upwards, when it finally does produce the bounce, it will affect the same coin to a much greater degree, and it will be much stronger. Everything is following Bitcoin always, right?
Yeah.
So the grand story here is, guys, as you get more experience with trading, as you get more experience with these markets that you are trading in general, you will learn, just like we have learned this, and we have made observations like this in the past. You will start to build a memory bank. Oh, that's funny. This market's moving up, while this other market's moving down, and these markets usually are moving together. Why is that? That is strange, and that is where you get an edge. You get an edge from the time, the memories, and the trades that you have executed, you have seen happen in front of you. That is your edge. That is your reward that you get from putting time in, that no one else gets. Okay. Now I've been rambling for a long time. So that's what I got. Maybe there's some questions, Tom. What's happening in the chat?
I think everyone's just listening to you at the
All
moment.
right.
All
Well,
right. Let's just say hello to everyone. We got lots of hellos coming in. We've got Nico. Devillas says US 30. I'm not sure. Maybe he wants to take a look at US 30. We got Eric. G'day, Eric. How you doing, mate? Euless. Good to see you back, Euless. Great to have you in the call last night as well, mate. Susok. Hello, Susok. We got Steve. Benny. G'day, Benny.
Nice.
Ben, congratulations on your month. Your November.
Well done.
Very, very well done, mate. Very, very well done.
Well done.
Exceptionally well done. First 5-figure month. Randy, how you doing? Paulo, actually, that trade just showed up on Sonar. That was the Bitcoin trade. Yes, that did show up on Sonar today.
Yep. Greatly crafted.
Yeah, very, very well put together trade. Hello, Sanya. Good to see you again. Sashin, hello, mate. How are you? We got Pillar in the chat. Hello, Pillar.
Oh, hello, everyone.
Hello, Steve. Hello, Cohen. What about German 40 short?
All right.
German 40 short and US 30 we got an idea of.
All
So what's your estimated target for BTC then?
I think there's a lot of pain, to be honest, ahead. I think there's a lot of pain. You gotta ask yourself, are you an investor here, or are you trading it? Because there's a big difference, okay? If you are a guy like Tom who has throughout his entire life been accumulating Bitcoin since it was $1,000, like you don't really need to worry too much about Bitcoin going to 25K. That's still like a dream. It's like 25K. That's like great. That's great. That's nothing.
I don't think I'll ever not be in profit on Bitcoin again.
No, that's the thing. And he has that luxury because he's been doing it for so long with a great strategy, right? Many people are not in that position. Many people are have bought at 50K and have sit in profits, and now they're maybe back to break even, and they will even start to see some drawdown. Look, you gotta understand that it's very difficult to to time the market with Bitcoin, because you never know when some giant corporation decides to just roll 10 or $50 billion just into Bitcoin on a TWAP that's just gonna run, and everyone knows it's running. No one can stop it, do anything to stop it. At some point, the jig is up, and you don't get a chance to buy at certain prices anymore. You might get a very specific price for a very short amount of time, where you're waiting just the right time to get. You might be able to buy 12.5K on a very good day, like one-time event in the future, and you have 30 seconds to do it. That might happen, but for the majority of people, I think you have to understand that this is a unique, life-changing opportunity you have in front of you. Buying Bitcoin now is like moving to I say this, not like buying Bitcoin now is like moving to the States back in the days when it got what did they do? They moved in the
colonization.
Yeah, when they colonized and they took the land from the Indians and they gave it away to the white people. So fucking mean. Anyway, the point is that back in the days, you used to be able to get a free land in the land of America. You would get a farm, you would get you get a piece of land, you even get a horse, possibly a wife even to set you up with that. And today, you would never be able to get a free piece of land like that. It just doesn't happen. You don't get that opportunity. The same way you, as time happens, as life moves forwards, and Bitcoin gets minted, and fewer and fewer Bitcoin in existence. Like, it's designed to go up. Bitcoin is designed to spearhead the banking system. It's designed to take down the fiat currency system. As long as you are aligned with that vision and you understand that this is an opt-out, you don't need to worry about it. But you will endure pain. You will see your investment do 50% drawdowns on maybe 80% someday. But it will happen. You got to prepare yourself for that. And it's really important you walk yourself through this the same way you walk yourself through trading psychology, because it's not easy. It's not easy.
But it's very similar. It's not easy the first few times you go through this type of thing. But when you have an understanding when you really understand that this is something that can happen to you when you are operating in financial markets, when you really understand it to your core, then it doesn't phase you quite as much, right? When you do have these drawdowns.
But you're not positioned the same way either when you really understand it, because that means you don't have the house, the wife, the family's money and margin and loans and all this in it, because
you know what the risk is.
you know it can happen.
You know what the risk
And
is.
it's just, it's not a good way, right? So that's how I feel about it. It's life-changing opportunities. In the short term, it's gonna shake the tree as much as possible, make as many people lose as much money as possible. That's just the dynamics of the markets, right? In the short term, that's what it's going to do. In the long term, in about 4 or 5 years, Bitcoin will be $1 million per coin. It will. I'm more confident about this than I was 5 years ago when I originally started talking about this. It's just, you can see it. You can look at the logarithmic chart, like zoom out, draw a trend line. You'll see it has plenty of margin. It could go to 10K right now, and it will still be within the margin of error to go to $1 million within the next 5 years. So yeah, that's it. Let's. It was US 30, right?
US 30 versus NAS 100 seems to break out the sideways action. Okay.
Right. So whenever RTD is no longer like one-sided trend, meaning we know it's long, we know we can buy and it's good to buy, or it's strongly confirmed downtrend, we know we can short it. It will say sideways. Okay. Now sideways will cover a lot of different scenarios as well, but in general it means, hey, we're not really entirely sure what's going on right here. Best to just stay out, let market resolve itself, let other people lose their money on it first, let them make the mistakes so you can see how they made the mistakes, and you'll have a much better idea how to trade the money. So that's what sideways really means, right? And when we're looking at this, we're looking at US 30. Well, it was quite a bounce, but honestly I still think it's going to come down. That's how it's very common for this market to do this.
For sure. When you see this type of price action, like you kind of get lulled into this sense of like, oh, it looks so bullish, but it's like the market needs to breathe now kind of thing. You know, it's just had this really strong bounce to the upside, so much buying pressure, you know, for whatever reason, it doesn't really matter. But when you see this price action, people go chasing after green candlesticks. And when people start chasing green candlesticks, other people realize that people are chasing green candlesticks and go and dump that market on their head. So, you know, when you see this type of price action, usually you'd be looking for some kind of pullback in that type of scenario.
This is also a pretty classic price action signature. You have a bounce. It produces like this. It's pretty violent. Just keeps going up. No pullbacks.
Yep.
So everyone who shorts along here, they just sit. You know, they're not happy. Not sitting in good position. And then it's pretty common for markets actually. Like this is very common. You see it in Bitcoin as well all the time. I saw it before the dump the other day.
Yep.
You see the market starting to slowly sell off, and then it produces some violent candle in the opposite direction, which marks the top, and then it slowly becomes, you know, it slowly turns bearish from there. So I would not be surprised to see that what just happened here actually marked the very top of this bounce that happened, and then it just continues to sell off from here. The first level is this level. If it goes below this level again, it'll probably start to sell off. So that's what I think about this market. Unfortunately, it's been difficult to short these indexes, these American indexes like SPX 500, because when it then finally does sell off, like really sells off, it's like an elevator down. There's no stops on the way. There's no bounces to really get in on. Yes, you can do it if you trade 15-minute. You might be able to find an entry, but in general, it's a straight elevator down.
Yeah. when fear really grasps these markets, it's kind of like everyone just stops buying. Like in these markets, right? These big US indices, you got to think like these are the markets when it's like, if you don't know where to allocate your capital, basically you're like, oh, we're going to drop it into one of these big US indices, essentially, right? If you're a big fund, because that's what we used to do, right? Yeah. But when it's like, okay, we don't really want to allocate to this now because it looks scary, because clients are saying it looks scary, no one allocates to it. And when no one allocates to it, you no longer have this buying pressure that's keeping it going up constantly. So it just absolutely dumps.
Yeah, it just drops.
It just drops. And then people go, I need cash. Where do I sell it from? Oh, we allocated extra to S&P 500. Let's sell it from there, right? And then you go and liquidate those positions, and it keeps the cascade going, keeps the cascade going. And yeah, this is how it works
It's
out.
a very liquid market. It's a very liquid market. You can pour billions of dollars into this, and it doesn't even move, basically. Like it is like a cash reserve. Yeah, it's very good way to put it.
What have we got here? What do you think of USD CAD on daily? We've got a USD CAD trade on the daily, I guess, sonar trade. While you're looking at that, what if USDT goes to 0? Won't that drastically affect BTC in the short term?
All right. So I have quite
You have a thesis.
I have quite a history with this idea of USDT falling to pieces.
Yeah.
In 2017, at the basically from November, where it really started going crazy and really started pumping. I just completely stopped trading it because I was extremely worried that USDT was about to fail to 0. And because of that, I missed out on some really incredible gains. That's kind of the month where Bitcoin went from $5,000 to $20,000. It 4x in a month, right? Yeah. And then I was worried after. I was like, okay, now it's crashing. Surely when the market is crashing, they cannot afford to keep it running. There is definitely potential that Bitcoin will be impacted by USDT. But it's not like you think it's going to happen. The way it's going to happen, actually, if USDT actually goes to 0, what's going to happen is that Bitcoin is going to skyrocket. Not sky dump, it's going to skyrocket. But not necessarily all types of Bitcoin. The BTC USDT pairs, they are going to see an opposite effect of the BTC USD pairs. All right? Because on a lot of these exchanges, they're offering both. And it's not the same thing. It's almost like a different banking system. USDT has almost like its own banking system. And yeah, it is questionable. And yeah, it is shady. And yeah, it is very worrisome. But so in the short time, if USDT like crashed, let's say the US opened a case, a federal case, closed it down, whatever. I've seen them do some ridiculous shit. I used to have a bank. I used to have a bank called Liberty Reserve, and overnight, I woke up to the goddamn Americans that flew into Puerto Rico. No, where was it? Hang on, where was it located? It was Panama. And they basically plucked out all the servers and plucked it all off, and overnight, like, I mean, it was $2,000, but for me, that was a lot of money at the time. This is many years ago, and it was just offline. That was it. My money was gone like that, because that was a central service. It came out later that it was being used, for money laundering. So yeah, it might sound a little familiar to Bitcoin. Goddamn mosquito. That is annoying. I did not.
No, you didn't. You missed it.
I completely lost. So in the short term, you will see extreme volatility. You will see BT USDT going up, because people are buying, they're buying Bitcoin with the USDT, and you'll see the BTC USD go down because people will probably sell it off for real fiat. So a lot of times these scenarios doesn't play out like we actually imagine.
Yeah.
All right, let's keep going.
Would you look at long 100 level? Wait for the market.
What's that?
I think he's talking about US 30 again. If you'd look at long on the 100%
No,
level.
if it's sideways,
It's sideways.
I just don't want to touch it. I want to let other people make the mistakes, and or let the market decide what's going to happen and then follow.
Until we're back into some sort of trend, we probably have to form a new high to be back in an uptrend on that market. Just from it's not in front of us now, but from memory. USD CAD on the daily. Let's look at USD CAD on the daily. We've got a couple of requests on that one. We got a question: are your levels decided by fib pivot points? Our levels are decided by Xmode.
Yeah, no. So yeah, sure. Xmode is a little familiar, like pivot points, but what's unique about Xmode is that it's a real-time algorithm that updates itself in real time as it happens. It marks out resistance for us. Pivot point doesn't really do this to the same degree, like not in real time. But yeah, you can kind of say it's the same, but the calculation for how we actually find these points is not the same. It's very different. One thing we also get with Xmode, in my own opinion, is just it's more accurate. Like I used to trade pivot points. This is what my mentor was teaching me, was pivot points. That's where I started. It weren't that good. but it depends how you trade it. Anything can work. In my opinion, I really feel like what we did with Xmode, like accurately solves the majority of the issue that people have with technical analysis, which is that they don't do it correctly. They don't map it out correctly. They don't read it correctly. They don't understand correctly what they're actually looking at. They don't know where to enter. They don't know how to execute on it. Xmode is very simple on that. Strategy mode gets you even further on that. That's what strategy mode did. Like Xmode gave you the levels and like an idea how to trade them.
Yeah.
And then what strategy mode did was like it gives you like an actual setup of how
Thesis.
how a professional would go about trading it.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay.
One day.
Right. One day. Sorry, this is weekly, guys. Now we go to USD CAD. USD CAD. Yeah, I mean that's pretty. That's not the greatest candle we want to see, but I want to remind you guys how many times that it ends up actually doing this, and how many people that end up selling into this, and then they just don't have the patience to sit and draw down, and that is it's a challenge. It's a challenge to learn to sit and draw down, and it's draining to open your trading account and see a trade that is in drawdown. So for this trade, I would most definitely set the trade, the TPs to break even. I would get out at the entry. I would not do anything right now because it's pointless. There's no reason to do it. If you're not trading systematically with the system that you're using, then there's no point in doing it. It's much better to just go back and do directional gambling where you just buy one lot in one direction, see what happens. And that's not a good strategy. That's never a good strategy. It's not a strategy at all. It's gambling. Okay. So
yeah, so assuming this candle closes below the level, rule of thumb, 2 candles close below the level or on the wrong side, then probably look to get out of break even, especially given how this first candle kind of cleaned through this level. So like it just cleaved through it so easily, right? Without any resistance whatsoever, without any support being there whatsoever.
This is something that neutral levels is more prone to do. Like it happens more often on neutral levels than it does on a support level or resistance level. Like this is definitely a thing. You can also see how the original candle, this has always been a level. This candle as well did basically the same. So this is something I want you to keep in mind. If like before you take these trades, just spend a little bit of time. Look at the market, look at the pricing. If you see something like this being created, and that is typically what we would call like almost like a gap. It's just a big pressure through a level. It's a big buy order coming through. A lot of times there'll be missing sellers here. There'll be missing buyers from here when it comes back on the retest. I think this trade will be fine. I think it
could get out of break even.
Oh yeah, I think there's a very good chance.
Very good chance.
I would give this a 65-70% chance get out of break even, maybe tomorrow, day after tomorrow, something like this. I mean, you can have a look. It's very common for this market to do these dumps and then come back up. It easily could be a comeback. It might even do TP1. It might even do TP2. So don't worry too much about that. Find the next trade.
Absolutely. Sanya's asking, what are your thoughts on Euro Singapore dollar 1 hour time frame? Euro SGD 1 hour time frame short from NRRR.
Let's have a look. So I much rather like to see this. Like I like to see this down here. For me, this is a good indication. I much rather see this here than I want to see it do it like this. And then do it like that. That's much worse than it happening here. This is good. This is very good to get out of the way. Actually, I like this setup a lot. I think it will do very well.
Yeah. We've got CAD Swiss franc 1 day sonar trade from Ahmad. Ahmad wants to have a look at the CAD Swiss franc 1 day trade.
Right. Oh, that's interesting. Yeah, it looks pretty good. Looks pretty good.
I could see TP1.
Let's have a look at 4 hour. Yeah, you can see some weakness coming in. Again, you got just guys, really pay attention to this specific price action. Okay, it's just like we saw on US30 before. You have a market pushing up, then it starts to pull down, push up, and then you have a bearish candle after that. That's a great sign. That's a really great sign. We get the entry filled. So I guess this guy's already shorted this. I like it. Like, these are quality trades. These are quality trades to execute. Executing on this level and this level, this level of trades is really good. It's really good. But what your job is to pay attention to the goddamn price action. Like, you really gotta look at it. Like, the reason I can look at this and say, hey, I like this, I'm happy to take this trade, is because I looked so much at these fucking candles. Like, and of course, I think it's very fair in a way, because this is really where the majority of your edge is coming from, is this memory bank that you built over time of remembering setups and price action before, remembering the price action that led to a good setup, and remembering the price action that led to a bad setup. A classic bad setup that we don't like seeing, is when whenever Sonar Trades finds a trade where it's already pushed straight into the entry. That's generally something you want to be wary about, whatever your fucking name is. Hang on, let me see if I can find one of these. That's an interesting one, actually. USD can't.
Very interesting. We got another question here. I'll handle that while you look for yours. I've been crossing my fingers that BTC pulls back to 25K to buy it for a long-term investment. What do you guys recommend if it doesn't? All right, so this is a very interesting question, Jose, right? So the thing about investing, right, is that you're not hugely concerned about like buying at that kind of 25K level. What you're concerned about is getting a position started. So what I would always like suggest when you're investing is something called dollar cost averaging and time diversification, diversifying over time and just continuing to drip money into this market. So just in case it never gets back to 25K and then it just rips on up to 100K and then you're left with just your cash that you were going to deploy when it hit 25K that you never got a chance to deploy. Because we all know people that are like, oh, well, I'm going to wait for it to get to this exact tick and then I'm going to buy it. And then you're just like, all right, cool. Well, I'm just going to continue to buy it forever, basically. And then they never get in, goes to 100K and they go, oh, I missed it. I never got into this investment, right? Different to trading, because trading, we're building this very specific thesis, okay? Whereas investing, we're building an idea about a specific asset and we're saying, I want to buy this asset because I believe this is a great quality asset for me to hold on to, because I see more value in this asset in 10 years from now than I see in this asset today. Okay, that's what an investment thesis is. A trading thesis is very different, and that's what we talk about, all the time. But investing is a little bit different here. So if I think that this asset is going to be worth a value of $100,000 or $200,000 or $1 million in 5 to 10 years from now, whatever it might be, and today it's sitting at, what are we seeing on BTC at the moment? 50K. We'll just call it 50K. Yep. Then that means that anytime I buy, right, today, tomorrow, the next day, when it's at 50K, it means I still have the potential for a 10, 20x over the next 5 to 10 years. All right, that's how you invest. So what you want to be doing is diversifying over time, taking a portion of your money and dripping it into that market over time. And then if you do end up seeing the 25K mark, you're being in drawdown in the investment you've already built, but that's when you deploy more cash into that investment when you get to this 25K mark. All right, but investing is important. It's very important to be continually dripping money into the market.
So what is a practical go-to-action strategy people can implement right now?
Yeah, so something you can implement right now is work out how much money you've got to invest, all right? Portion off 5 to 10% of that and then go and drip that into the market, right? So you don't put everything in all in one go. You just slowly start allocating, 5 to 10% of whatever the amount is that you've got to invest every single month, right? And you just automate that every single month that just gets stripped in. So you've got, a period of time, 12 months or whatever, that you're going to allocate into this asset over that period of time.
And then I would say that would be a great strategy, because we know where Bitcoin is heading. We have an idea of where it's going to head, doesn't really matter if you're buying at $0.05 million per Bitcoin, or you're buying at 0.04 million per Bitcoin or 0.02 million per Bitcoin. It doesn't matter because Bitcoin is, the idea is it's going to go to $1 million, right? So, but let's say it then did drop to 25K. Maybe you could deploy a little bit more capital that that week or that month, a little bit more, right? Anyway, I wanted to highlight a setup here that I just told you guys that in general you want to be careful about, and that is setups that's looking like this. In general, whenever you see a market moving in these sort of curved upward fashion, I really don't like seeing that ever if it's something I'm gonna short. The same way I don't want to see it when I'm going long. The same way this can go up like this, it can also, it can also do like that downwards, right? And you never, I don't want to really say never, but in general, you really want to be careful around these because there's multiple things happening. The first thing is that when you have something like this moving exactly like this pattern, there's some sort of entity buying. There's some sort of buying program online, meaning there's a continuous buying happening. Your job is to identify whenever this is done, and this is by reading the price action, okay? The same way that when you have a dump that's like slowly leading down, that's going to end up in a capitulation. And what that really is that people are getting into these positions, that the same way people starting short here, fucking mosquito, they start to short here. It ends up just going up. It's collecting all these people without giving them a chance to get out of break even, which is a lot of people. It's a mean one, mate. That's me. I got it. Yep.
Great work.
Thank you. So that's a setup you want to be careful around. These that ends up like this. If it shows up on Sonar where it's already trading in the entry zone, be careful around it. Like really, generally, be careful around it because it's already showing a strength that you didn't really want to see. You want to be prepared for this. And you have to remember there will be another setup right after this, and that might be the setup that you are looking for. So the same way that when it starts to move down like this, whenever a market starts to slowly move down, it's building people. And that is kind of what I was waiting for this weekend. How much did I make? $25,000?
In like 30 seconds.
Yeah. So I was waiting on Bitcoin, and typically I would be buying 50K, right? So let's go back to Bitcoin. Oh, don't have a Bitcoin chart open here.
But that's a very different price action to the liquidation candles, right?
Yes.
Very different price action to the liquidation. Don't get those confused,
Yep. And this is what you learn from price action, is that you learn to actually see that people are getting into this, like people are actually stuck in this. That is not the. Hang on, sorry, that didn't look like a dot to me. I was like, what is this? So, here we go. That is the 1 wick candle. Okay, here we go. Right. So here's a great example. Okay, so this is the liquidation that happened during the weekend, where Bitcoin was trading actually at 57K, and then it slowly started drip, and it keeps dripping. And at a certain time where a market has dripped this much, there's a ton of people caught in positions. It has the potential that if it keeps rolling, I know what's going to happen. These people that are caught in this position, they are not going to be the ones to sell. The ones that's going to sell is backstop liquidity providers, market makers who are cleaning out a delta. Different groups of people get to a certain point in time where they're just like, hey, you know what? We're beyond our risk limit right now. We don't trade. Unlike human traders, retail traders, we just get out and we just market dump it. We don't give a shit. We just get out because that's what we know we got to do. If we don't do it now, we'll be forced to do it at 10 or 15% lower price in a few minutes. Okay, so it happens very quick. It's often algorithms kicking in. So what I did here is that I recognize this because usually I would be ready to buy 50K. Let's pull up 50K. And I'll tell you why I didn't buy 50K. So this first one here. Oh, that was a little bit too much. There we go. So this level here is 50K. Actually, can I go back and, we have great tech. We have great tech. All right. Here we go. So that's your 50K level here, right? And the market screen looking like this, and you have to make a decision. You got to make a decision. Are you buying this or not buying this? I mean, you've been waiting for 50K. Bitcoin was just trading 69K, a few days earlier. It's like, so that's like obviously 50K is a pretty good price. It's $19,000 cheaper than it was, So you're gonna make a decision: are you buying this or you're not buying this? Well, if the price action is looking like it was looking here, there's a very good chance that you not want to buy this at all. Let me remind you, RTD was bearish all the way through. So in general, our trading system would never suggest to buy this. The buy that I was making is that I was making buys at a level where I knew people were selling at a price that they didn't actually want to be selling at. They were selling at a price where they were forced to sell, meaning that they didn't actually want to sell it. They had to because they were getting margin called. So that's the 50K touch. And if you're really quick, sure, you can make money if you're really quick, but you don't have much time because the next candle is going to clean you out. What I ended up doing is that I know my levels. I know Bitcoin, and it's my primary market. So I know what levels I was looking for. I was looking for this level, 46 and 74.3, like this general area here. That's really what I was looking to buy. So I had some orders there. And actually, we should actually been at the 1 minute because I had to be extremely fast. I got in, I got out very fast because I could see it bounced back to 50K. You can't see it in these candles because it happened so fast, but that's because these liquidation events happens like basically the price hits a certain price, and just like a stop loss, it kicks in, right? And these, you can see the liquidation. You can actually read a feed saying liquidated, 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 and that's kind of what you want to be buying. Your liquidations are entries, always, right? So you have the opportunity, buy it. But my trade didn't last more than a few seconds. Yeah. I was in, I was out, and that was it. It was just almost like an arbitrage trade, if you could say. And the next trade, I was like, if this goes to 43K from me, I'm definitely buying a little bit more. And was that actually where it went? Yeah, we got to 42K here. Yeah, that was the candle. All right.
Yep, that was the candle.
So in a matter of a few seconds, actually in the position, I managed to make a very easy 25, 30K, something like this in a very short amount of time because I knew what was happening. I had an idea exactly what this would lead to. I know whenever there's a build up this way, the same way you can have the build up the opposite direction, like I just showed you on that nat gas trade. Whenever you have a build up like this, you have an exceptional opportunity to recognize what's going on and make money from it. But it takes a certain level and a certain level of trading and experience, which is something you gain over time, which gives you these opportunities where you can risk very little money and use and have a massive reward. And like some people, all they do, I know a guy, all he does is he takes like 2-3 trades a year, and they're exactly like this. He sits around, he waits all year, he has his capital, he doesn't need to do more than 2-3 trades because when he pulls these off, it's $3 million he makes in a single trade because he knows exactly what he's looking for, and he knows it will happen again and again and again. So that's his job.
You got to be a special kind of mindset to be able to do that, to literally not pull the trigger ever. Yeah. And when you do pull the trigger, pull it with so much size that it's like, I'm going to clear like $5 million in this trade. Yeah. You got to, that's like, that's a
high level,
very high level,
very high level. It's very, very impressive. But if you can actually, if you can get to that, that is what you really want to be doing. Like for the rest of the year, you don't have to do anything. You can go around, you can do your business, you can be a vacation, whatever you want. You have specialized, you have educated yourself, you have taken hundreds, thousands of trades to get to the point that you are to be able to recognize. You've probably been trading Bitcoin since 2011. So it's very fair in that way.
You know what's really interesting? Like in that scenario, right? This market is less of a financial instrument to him and more of just a psychological event that's happening. And he's taking advantage of just a psychological event that he just so happens can put a bet on, essentially.
Yes.
And that's really what markets are. When you really think deep and long about what markets are, they're human psychology printed onto a chart.
Yes. Trading is often you will find that trading is much more about human behavior than it's actually about what the market is really doing.
What the financial instrument is or what it does or whatever.
It is the study of monkeys like working with financial instruments. It's very interesting. It's very, very interesting, and it's why I'm deeply fascinated by this, and I think this is definitely a key for. It's a key for many people to really do take a different path in their life, have an opt out of what they actually do in the current situation. Like there's a lot of people out there who's in positions they don't really like to be in, that's doing jobs they don't like to do, and they're looking for some alternative they can go about, like at least something that they can start working on. They can tell themselves, hey, if I work my ass off and I do this for the next several years, this can be my opt out. And if you convince yourself of this and you put in the time, you put in the effort, and you do it, yes, it is a reality that this can be your opt out. And that was really the idea behind Breakfree Trading, and that was really what we wanted to do. We wanted to give people a better chance to succeed in the financial markets. Does it solve everything? No. Does it do a lot for you? Yes, a lot. It really does. Now we have some pretty cool updates coming, and I'm pretty excited about this. One of the things that we're really focusing on right now is the Binance Bridge. In general, forex brokers, I mean, if you compare it to a crypto broker, it's very different. It's very different. The execution in crypto is much more fair. There's a lot more retail people involved in crypto than there actually is in forex. Forex, it's a large part of it is just automated bots, algorithms, banks, etc. But in crypto, you got a lot of people that's making a lot of mistakes, and that means you have a lot of opportunity.
With a lot of leverage.
A lot of leverage, right? And that's why these events happen. The reason we want to focus on really getting the Binance Bridge up to date is because I actually think there's a lot more potential and money for people to capture in crypto than there actually is in forex, and we want to build better tools to do this. We want to, of course, give people the best opportunity. And right now, crypto is in season. It's not always going to be a season. It will be back in a bear market sometime in the future. I don't know when, but it will be. And when that is, that's when you want to be trading forex. There's a saying which typically goes like this: when crypto gets boring, when crypto gets when you finally find like the bottom of the crypto market, there's a lot of people that's saying like, you know what, fuck crypto, I'm creating this stuff, I'm gonna go trade forex. And the same way in forex, when it becomes like a really boring market, when crypto is booming and so on, you have a lot of forex traders saying like, you know what, screw forex, I'm gonna go trade crypto. Yeah, and that usually marks the bottom. All right, do we have questions, Tom?
Yeah, we do. Chris wants to take a look at natural gas on the 1-day time frame. He's asking a question about swaps here on IC markets. minus 131 point swap. Does that mean $131 a day? No, it doesn't mean $131 a day. 131 points per 1 unit of whatever it is you're trading. So natural gas, what is that, like $3 or something like that?
Yes.
$3.84. So 131 points. So what are we talking, like 13 cents per unit that you buy of this thing, I guess?
Oh, it's really fell off a cliff, huh? Jesus Christ.
Big gap down, huh?
Oh.
Massive gap down. But no, it wouldn't be $131 a day for 1 unit, because 1 unit's only $3. So yeah. Do you also invest in ETH or any other coins? Yeah, I mean, in general, Ethereum and Bitcoin are just kind of like...
Bitcoin, Ethereum goes a little bit more up than Bitcoin and a little bit more down than Bitcoin.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah, exactly, yeah. But
in general, altcoins are just a way to, it's almost like a leveraged way for Bitcoin, you know? That's
a Bitcoin is the big daddy. It's the
I hadn't heard about this at all. I hadn't noticed this at all about.
It's quite strange, very strange. Because it did like this crazy run, didn't it? Was that natural gas that did this? Yep. Yeah, it like 4x'd. 4x'd.
It's the same thing. It's the same goddamn thing, guys. It's the goddamn You know, it's the goddamn push where it just keeps going up, right?
Yeah.
And now you finally has this trend break where like something is different. It's not the same anymore. You can see RTD as well. And I bet if we really zoom in, now I don't remember what the question was. Yes, there it is. Every goddamn time, guys, I'm telling you, RTD is the best trend mechanism you will ever work with in life. Every fucking time before the market like really dumps, you have this warning. You have this goddamn warning where it keeps bouncing off, you know, you're fine, it keeps bouncing off local, and then it dips below. It pretends to be okay for some time. It's you know, it's like everything is fine, but it's not fine. It's a big warning shot, and you can see, and what you can see here is the same. Let me pull up my vertical line tool so we get this exact day where it really tells us that this is not fine anymore. There we go. Yeah, that's pretty good. That's fine. So you can see already back here in November 10th, RTD told people, this is not okay. This is not okay. This is not good. Something is off.
And you know, like basically, right at that 4688, I think it is. Yeah, 4688. We've tested this level over and over and over. It acted as support. It acted as support. It acted as support again and again and again. And then RTD crosses, and it's like, okay, I'm not going to buy this anymore. This is no longer my support to buy. So you know. There's layers to this when you're looking at the price action, when you're looking at RTD. Very good. Yeah.
It's really good. Like it's really good. I think RTD gets underestimated a lot. Like it is great tech, and it tells you when to get the fuck out and when to stay out.
Yeah.
Now, what does this look like right now? Like let me just think. Oh, what have we talked about tonight that this looks kind of like? I'll tell you what it looks like. It looks like Ethereum. Looks like Ethereum. All right. You got the warning shot. You got the global trend that's collapsed. This will dump more. I really.
Yeah, if Bitcoin continues to go down, then ETH will certainly fall. I mean, even if Bitcoin consolidates now, ETH probably dumps.
I think if Bitcoin consolidates here, I think Ethereum could run a little bit, but you just don't want to mess with it when it's like this, because it's not like here. Over here, it's free money. This is like every single pullback, buy it and you'll do great. Whenever this starts to happen, it's like you can't trade with that confidence you'll do great. Here, you can buy this, great confidence, you'll be fine.
Yep.
Here, no, absolutely not. All right, last questions, guys, because
I wanted to ask about pound Aussie dollar from 1 hour S extension trade, I guess. 1 hour extension trade, pound Aussie dollar. The market is sideways now, but before entry to the level, it was a weak uptrend. Should a long from that level be considered dicey due to the weak RTD?
All right, let's have a look at this. So was it 1 day or 1 hour? Or what
1 hour, mate. 1 hour.
1 hour? Right.
Yep.
Oh. So, yeah, it's not looking so great. It's not looking so great.
Yeah. Now that we've kind of breached this extension 1.
I mean, there's a chance this holds. If you're in here, I would really move TPs to entry first of all, right? Move TPs to entry. I would not exit a trade. I would not do that. It's really a bad idea, because if this actually bounces from here and goes back to your entry, the damage you take financially is not fun, but even worse, the psychological damage you do to yourself by thinking, oh fuck, I lost money on a trade I actually didn't have to lose money on if I just followed the system that I'm fucking paying money for. The problem with that is that the psychological damage that happens from that is much more damaging actually than the financial loss of hitting the stop loss. It's yeah.
I don't think Euless is in the trade. I think he's just asking about whether it's a potential buy there, but
I don't like it.
I don't like it either. No.
It could this could be the bottom. No, there's definitely a chance.
There's always a chance that it could bounce here, right?
No, there's definitely a chance that this could be the bottom of this current leg that's happening right here, right? There's definitely a chance, because what we have is we got the same behavior we've just been talking about all night, right?
Yep.
And if you really look closely to this, okay, let's get out of this. No. If you really look closely to this, what you can see is that it's been selling off. This was a pretty direct sell.
Yep.
And then you had this consolidation, and now you got this second direct sell.
Yep.
There's definitely a chance that it holds its ground here and it pushes back to support. I'm not sure it's going to go much higher than that, but it's definitely a chance.
But the question is it a tradable chance though?
So I think you would have to go look and see if you can find a better opportunity on GBP for longs first. And I think there's probably better GBP trades out there, like GBP Euro. I could imagine is looking good. Let me have a look.
Yep. Pound longs, Aussie dollar shorts.
Not really. What else we got in GBP? It could be USD. I don't even know what the USD is looking like. Oh, it's all bad. You know what? Stay the fuck away from GBP. GBP loans.
Yeah.
So you see what just happened. By looking at additional GBP marks, I immediately accessed more information to myself to give me a better idea of whether I should be buying that trade or not. Now, if you are like a GBP USD trader, right, and this was your market, and you are really comfortable with this market, but you don't want a longer downtrend, but you're very confident for whatever reason that this should be the bottom, what's happening right here should be bottom, then yes, then GBP AUD is your trade. This is the way you would long it because it's in an uptrend. It's in, at least of the GBP trades I've been looking at, this is the strongest looking version. But generally speaking, from the opinion I just made from looking at these different GBP markets, no, it's looking shit. It's looking very weak. I would rather stay away or find a short position on it or wait for the bounce on GBP to short it on GBP USD, right? Short it up here, short it here, something like that.
Cool.
Well, final questions, guys. Final question, Tom.
Joseph just said hello, guys. Hey, Joseph. Joseph, passed the funding program.
Oh, well done, mate. Well done.
Well up, Joseph. Good work, mate. So he just checked in with us here. Fantastic. Yours, RTD definitely lets you know when it's time to pack it up and break even. Yeah. Absolutely. That's it. Yeah. Throw in any other questions, guys. If I've missed any, please put them back in the chat because I missed them. Oh, did we do this? If you got to choose between Aussie dollar yen and New Zealand dollar yen on the 1 day time frame, what would it be?
Let's have a look.
Aussie dollar and New Zealand dollar.
No, that's easy. That's easy. That's easy. Not Aussie dollar.
No, Aussie dollar yen and New Zealand dollar yen.
Yeah. Oh, hang on.
JPY. Sorry, I'm saying yen.
Oh, sorry.
No, Aussie dollar JPY.
Yeah. Sorry.
Yeah. There we go.
Messing with you, mate.
No, yeah, I know. Yeah.
What was the other one?
New Zealand dollar. Yeah. New Zealand dollar JPY.
Right.
There we go. Perfect. Well done. We got that. B this morning because I was I'm in it currently. Set my TPs to B this morning because I was expecting way more bullish price action here and didn't get it, prompting my move to TP. Yet I was wondering if it was tradable before this price action. Oh, gotcha though. Okay, yeah.
If I had to choose,
What's that? 137.85.
I mean, this one is definitely stronger, right? But the question is if this is the top, because then, you know, if this is the bounce for yen, then if this is the bounce
Aussie dollar bounce,
if this is the if this is a dump on JPY, right?
Yeah, if this is where we start to see
the opposite reaction. Oh, I'm getting tired.
If this is where we see risk markets move to the upside again, Aussie dollar, New Zealand dollar appreciate against yen.
I would go with the New Zealand yen, and then we'll check back.
New Zealand yen?
Yeah.
Yeah, I was going to pick New Zealand yen as well.
Oh, I bet you were.
I was.
Yeah, I bet.
No, I was.
I'm joking with you, mate. All right, guys, that's it. I hope you enjoyed our session today. It was a pleasure. We'll be back next week. Your host, Tom Cleese, me. You know who I am. I hope so.
Alrighty then, guys. Thanks for joining us. Enjoy your evening, day, wherever you're from, and we'll talk to you all next week, okay? We'll talk to you next week. All right, guys. Thanks.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye.